clouds and skies that we had around us, and the heavy wind, really breezy day. But there's a bit of sunshine peeking through now. As Anil Shah goes after one down the ground and nearly creates a catching opportunity. Of all the time in the world to be chasing down this total, I'm not sure Anil Shah needs to go over the top or go after things that extravagantly. Andrew Leonard here alongside Aman Patel. Aman, a quick break as always. They're always too quick when there's only the two of us commentating. 153 more needed from here. Nepal heavy favourites. Is this a mental challenge as much as a challenge of their technical skills?
Yeah, I think the way Anil Shah has come out to bed has been rather tricky. Good afternoon to you, Lenny. He's come out with this real aggressive mindset. I don't think you need it. Just go bat time, stick in the middle. That'll be wide. Just pushing at that one was Curry. But, yeah, Shah first delivery up, looked to go down the ground. Second one, he's tried to use his feet to attack. It's prompted Matthew Cross to come up to the stumps. I just reckon that Nepal can take their time. Yes, the net run rate for them isn't great, but there's no need to panic about that. Pick up the points. Those are what are going to matter right now. You need to find the win column, especially with Brad Curry and how good he's bowling, coming off career best figures of 4 of 32. Can't afford to give him early wickets.
Again, it's just a big kind of yahoo, isn't it? A big swing at a ball. Okay, it's a wide one. He'll pick up a couple of byes, but it's certainly not the approach that we would have expected nor be advocating here. If there's going to be threat with the new ball, it will be early, and it'll be from the likes of Brad Curry, maybe Brad Wheel or Brandon McMullen if he opens the bowling. And it's because the two new balls that are in operation will move around early. Nepal need 3 and over here. They're going out like this is a T20, needing 7, 8, 9 and over. Another big shot. Okay, it's a great shot. And it's gone all the way for 6. Not the approach we would have expected. Anil Shah says, pipe down up there in the commentary box. I'll bat as I please, and I'll smash it out of the ground all the way for a maximum.
Well, it's very different from the first 3 times he's tried to look to go big, because the fact that you see him go with the front footed, this one held his shape much better versus trying to just hack it into the leg side. I still don't understand the approach. Again, you know Brad Curry is able to get massive amounts of swing back in. Is this, Lenny, just more so of that mental game you spoke of? We've talked about this wicket doesn't seem to be doing that much. She's saying, hey, you're not going to, just your reputation alone isn't going to bother me. You have to do me in for me to actually stop playing my game.
Yeah, well, he's been sent out there maybe with the freedom to play as he likes. I don't think there is an edge on this, but another very expansive drive. We're in the first over here. They need 3 and over. There's 50 overs to get these runs. Is Anil Shah just saying, well, come on, we're the cardiac kids. I can't do things simply. I'm going to add a bit of drama. Spice it up a bit.
It's just perplexing. Now, this was I was not ready for this after the break again, because again Curry's bowled so well, and it's just again being aggressive and playing your shots. That's one thing. He's looking to hit every ball for 6 runs. That's the real difference right now.
Almost the way he's loading up, he looks like he's just going to go after everything. Scotland look a tiny bit perplexed as well. Interesting start. It's never boring in any associate cricket, but particularly when Nepal, or indeed when USA are around. So when they come up against each other, we got what we got 2 days ago, a classic, a match for the ages. These two, the last time they met in ODI cricket, that was all the way back in February 2023 in Nepal. Well, they served up maybe one of the games of the entire tournament. Better from Anil Shah. Take your time. You've lots of it. There is 12 runs come from the first over, including 4 wides. It's 12 for none. Man, I was telling you about that game in our taxi ride into the ground this morning. It was in February last year. Nepal were hosting Namibia and Scotland. They came into the series looking as though they would very likely, potentially lose their ODI status. There wasn't even any talk of them qualifying for the qualifier, and they managed to go on this run of 11 wins from 12. But the last time they met, it was the 21st of February. Scotland posted 212 on a wearing wicket. The scores had been higher earlier in the series. In fact, Nepal broke their record for the highest chase in their ODI history when they chased down 275 with just a couple hours to spare when Dipender Singh Hari made 85 not out, trumping Michael Leask's century that came off 85 balls. They won that by 3 wickets. Then the next day they chased down an even higher total against Namibia. That's driven firmly. Brandon McMullen it is to open the bowling. But then the final ODI of the series, they needed 213 to win. And it was, well, Rohit Powdell against the world, really, because at one point they were 61 for 5, and at another point they were 130 for 8. Karen KC came to the crease, he made 31. Powdell steered his side home with an incredible, miraculous 95 not out. Monty Desai described that run of 11 wins from 12 as each needing its own Netflix episode in a wider series. It was a run that captured the imagination of the wider cricketing world. It brought associate cricket to the headlines, the crowds, the fans, the passion, and the brilliance of the team. Well, it really, for the first time, maybe showed associate cricket to an audience that hasn't seen it before. It showed how good it is, and we're now into the second edition of this league, and we're getting more treats of the same nature.
Yeah, stories like that tend to do a lot of good, and this is a lot of good here from Asif Sheikh. I don't know if it'll carry to the boundary rope, but it'll just be a couple of runs. But when you get those stories, you just almost have to ask, have to care. We're almost so inspired and curious about interesting little things. Think about all the sports movies we talked about the other day, where you just capture the imagination of an audience, and we love a good almost comeback stories. This one again picked up off of a fuller length. You just almost inspire yourself to continue just watch, and you just get invested into a group because there is that little sense of the underdog story coming in, and that's the beauty of Nepali cricket.
I'll save the full tale for another day, but it even caught the universe boss's attention. I'll give you the full, it's a long story, not one for this chase that looks like it's going to be a hectic one, but even Chris Gale said to me, they were in the trees, man. They were watching from everywhere. As Sheikh, again, a forceful stroke. Very fortunate. That could have gone anywhere. Skews away off the outside edge. I'll pick up a couple. Scotland look a bit in shock at this approach. They weren't expecting this.
No one was expecting this. Again, maybe this is part of that plan, just to see and check Scotland's mental headspace. I think most folks would have anticipated softer hands, just run here, run there, but these two, whilst vastly different approaches, are looking to score off every ball.
Another expansive drive. 2 overs bowled, 16 for none. Is there a method to the madness, Aman? Are Nepal saying, have the brains trust, have those senior coaches said to their 2 right-handed openers, we want you to go out and go at it, because we think if you try to defend, we think you're going to get out early.
And I think that's probably the mantra. They're saying, okay, the ball is going to do a bit here. There's still the conditions in the air, just a touch overcast. Sun is peeking through. We don't want to lose early wickets, but we don't want to lose them for cheap. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to try to just put your force out there. And what we've already seen, Brad Curry, who was so consistent, really didn't waver at all through his entire spell where he's picked up 4 wickets, has already missed big on the offside, trying to keep it out of the arc. So this different style of approach has almost forced Scotland into plan B early, and maybe that's the best way to attack Scotland.
Still 2 slips in place. That's a good decision from Richie Barrington. You just worry, though, that if they get one, maybe then that will lead to the dismissal of the other. That will give Scotland a real window into this game. Look at the body language of Scotland. I don't think they were expecting this. I think they were expecting the same approach that they had in the first 10, which is, okay, maybe 30, 35 runs in the first 10 overs, and allowing the 2 skillful Scottish openers to just bowl and get into a rhythm and create opportunities. Instead, it looks like Sa and Sheikh are determined to attack. Now, that's better. I don't mind that. That's a push into the offside, get the single, get down the non-striker's end. There's a little bit of risk to it, there's no doubt, but if they chase it down, I don't think Nepal fans are going to mind a jot as to what the approach has been.
Yeah, you don't mind them looking to be positive. I think it's just the options of being positive and how you be it. Again, with Sa, he was just throwing everything at every delivery and opening his legs up and using his hands mostly. The one he hit for 6, you could see he got his foot to the ball, and that one I didn't mind as much because he did everything right in approach. But you've seen a tamer in Nepal's side now. Maybe just saying, okay, we've done the bit to just mentally throw Scotland off. Now let's just look around, poke one here, and see if we can get Scotland to just be a little bit wayward.
Guided away. A little bit more control to this stroke from Asif Sheikh. A lot of batting in the Nepal side today. Kushal Mala's come in to strengthen it up. We'll show you their 11 in a moment, but we suspect it will line up with Kushal Bertel in this new role at number 3 that he's fulfilled in the T20Is. Now going to repeat that in the ODIs. I know he didn't get many runs the other day, didn't look great, but I think that's a much more natural position for him than the 5, 6 or 7 that they experimented with up in Canada. It means that Rohit Powdell, the captain, will be at number 4. He could be critical if they do have a wobble. Then we'll probably see Mala at 5. That's an extraordinary shot again. Anil Shah whips across the line of one that only just evades the off stump.
Yeah, he's anticipated to swing back into him, and it's left him. And we know Brad Curry can get the ball to move away. We've seen it happen in his first over. Half the deliveries were moving away from Anil Shah. Again, it's just a reckless approach almost, and he's clearly been given the license to do it.
Yeah, the keeper's been brought up to the stumps because they saw in the first couple of balls that Shah was wandering outside his crease. Shah, right now, he's batting like a cat on a hot tin roof. Better, much better. You've all the time in the world. There is a lot to be said, isn't there, Aman, for old school cricketing graft. Might not be glamorous or boring. Look at this stroke, the ball before.
There's just no reason to play that shot. Again, you know Brad Curry can seam it away. He did it majority of the time that first over. We're seaming away. 3 deliveries and then the one wide. Everything was moving away from Anil Shah. So you know he can do this. It's not a surprise delivery. There's no reason to provide that amount of risk chasing the total they are. It's just 137 to go.
He also has the capability to bring it back in, which would be with the wind, so easily could have lost his off stump there. But there's a lot to be said, isn't there, for that kind of old school graft that we don't see too much in the modern game. So much time to play. Means I think we'll see Arif Sheikh maybe as low down as number 8. Now, what could happen is that he could come in at number 6 if they have a wobble here, if they're, let's say, 60 for 4 or something like that, and they just want to send in Arif Sheikh to stabilise things. And then the big hitting of Gulshan Jah and Dipender Singh Hari can be held back. But it's a much deeper batting lineup with no Lalit Rajbanshi today.
Yeah, it is. Kushal Mala gives you a lot of stability up top, and you're almost thinking, is that a reason why they're just kind of playing with this abandon? Because you do have the extra batting Kushal Mala on the side. I still can't get over the way they've approached the innings so far. Again, they're looking to be positive, looking to score. But you mentioned old school cricket, and this is the perfect situation for it. You could just get 2-3 runs and over, and you're well ahead of the game.
Immediate change to Brad Wheel, who for me was the pick of the bowlers for Scotland in that 10-wicket rout of USA. I thought they were so impressive, particularly Wheel. I know it was Curry that got the headlines with the 4 wickets, and then Andrew Mead's knock that won the player of the match, but I just loved the way in but certainly Wheel was the one with his control. I think it was 7 overs, 2 for 15, and threat that impressed me. We spoke a lot about his hair the other day as well, didn't we? Throwing it out.
There it is. It's almost what most people did in COVID, right? You just let it expand. No reason to cut it, and I think it's working for him. I might have added a little bit to the bowling, but
well, now is there a November coming in? Is there we're 2 days out?
Right. Oh.
Is there a November come now? The rules of November, he's breaking them. If so, you have to be clean shaven on the 31st of October, Mr. Wheel. If you're wondering what Movember is, you've never heard of it. It's a charity that was established initially down in Australia to raise awareness for prostate cancer in particular, but general men's cancer, where men who may not usually grow a moustache would clean shave on the 31st and grow out the moustache for the full month of November. So obviously at the start of the month, they tend not to be very... I'm going to speak to Brad Wheel after the game. I think he's got to get that Movember going, but he has to clean shave it. It looks like he could grow a moustache.
I think he could. He's not like me. I don't think he'd be challenged on that front.
Nothing above the lip for you, Emma?
No, it's very, very rare that anything gets in there. Like, you can go 2 or 3 days without shaving, and then you're like, oh, there might be one or two poking out.
Embarrassing story incoming from my...
Oh, here we go.
Sure. What day? It's a Tuesday. Come on. Some Tuesday humility. I've done the Movember once. In fact, I've done it twice. Apologies. I've done it twice. Both times to raise money for charity. First time I did it was the embarrassing one. Actually, they both were humiliating, sorry. Yeah, now that I think of it, both were. Beats the outside edge and good length from Wheel. First time I did it was down in Australia, and even though we raised a few bob for charity, it was mainly because Australia really embraces Movember, and if you're growing the mow out, you get a lot of benefits. It's a 2-for-1 burger. It's a come in and have a free drink on us. It's brilliant. The businesses get really behind it. So we were young Irish kids in Australia, and I was down playing cricket in Melbourne, and we said we'd do it. So it was a bit of fun. My moustache didn't quite grow to the ability that people would recognise it as a moustache. So I've never worn makeup of any kind, even in broadcasting, actually. I've always might have maybe a couple of times in Nepal to do some bits. 4 ball, 21 for none. I might have had to borrow a bit of the then girlfriend's mascara just to kind of give it a bit of girth to get it. Oh, and when that was on it, then Lenny's got a Movember. That you'd think that would be the most embarrassing one, but no.
Oh no, Lenny.
I think I'm going to be able to find the photo. Shame we can't bring it. Actually, I don't want this to go on air, so I'm not even going to suggest that before Umair gets in my ear. First year in the ICC, I worked there for 3 years, 2014 through to 2017. Got a great welcome from all the staff and got told, oh, look, we're doing Movember for charity this year. Do you want to get involved? And I said, oh, of course, yeah, 100%. I've actually done it once before. I'm not great on the moustache front. I do have a kind of little wispy beard that I keep most of the time, but I'll give it a go 100% to get involved and be a part of things. So, yeah, I'm going to show you some of the... Not great. I went with the old handlebar.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
The handlebar approach. But then, I'm going to see if you can guess who I'm referring to here. So there were 10 gents in the ICC staff, some great long-serving ICC staff members who had a go at the Movember, including one of the most famous, Dev Patel, who was one of the finance team, fondly called the chairman around the office, as he ran the ICC football team that we played in once a week. He grew a good moustache. There was Simon Varney, who was in the media rights team, grew a great moustache. The former West Indies opener, Adrian Griffith, who looked after the umpires' end of things for a long time, he grew a good moustache. Eddie Fitzgibbon, brilliant moustache, the ICC development events manager. So we're all together. We're about, I'm going to tell you what date it was because the Google Photos has helped me out here. We were 18 days into November and everyone did start clean shaven. So 2.5 weeks, you'd think you'd get a decent mow going. But what happened was we had a visitor to the ICC offices who's got one of the most iconic moustaches in world cricket, and we said we had to get a photo with him. So who do you think I might be referring to? One of the best moustaches in the world game. A bit of a clue. Why would they have been at the ICC as well?
I'm struggling here, Len. I'm not sure where you're going.
Think down under.
Down under.
Nicely bowled by Brandon McMullen. Our director's got it. He's got it in one.
Is it David Boone?
It is the ICC.
Mayor, great job. Thank you for saving me on that
one. The ICC match referee, David Boone, was in the office for some meetings with the rest of the match officials. So he said we all would know Booney, and Booney is not just a great match referee, he's a great human off the field, one of the all-time good guys of world cricket. So we said, Booney, we're all doing Movember. Can we get a photo with you? As this has worked into the leg side for what should be 2, because a bit of a misfield from Jones, who, well, every time he goes to ground, you worry about his shoulders, don't you, with those problems that he has, but he's okay. So we've got a photo here with Booney. I'm going to show you. Umair, you're not allowed to show this on air. He slightly outdoes us as a group of men, doesn't he?
Just ever so slightly. You know, what the most impressive thing about this photo is, Lenny, it's not the full takludai going right now. You got a little bit of hair on the top of the head. Don't think I've ever seen Lenny with any bit of hair.
You wouldn't describe that as impressive, man. Umair wants to see it. He's coming in. I wonder who you think is the most. I reckon Dev Patel has the shape for me. What do you reckon, Umair? Who's the? Booney outdoes us a bit. I don't have a good one there, do I? Tulsa? Yeah, Tulsa not bad. No, there's me in the back.
Yeah.
Not great, is it? Let's hope nothing happens this ball because Umair's gone missing. Nothing does happen. It's okay. They'll dash a quick single. But great fun.
Yeah.
Really good. I think we raised a couple of thousand dirhams, if not more, for men's cancer and cancer awareness. And yeah, if you are wondering what we're talking about Movember and being 2 days prior. If you do want to get involved, I think you can check that out on their official website. It's just a great initiative to help raise awareness. A lot of fun, and something that, was a complete humiliation, standing next to one of the great moustaches in the world with what I can only describe as a pathetic effort. What I can only describe as a pathetic effort from my end, man. And I know you agree with me.
Look, at least you tried. I don't think my effort would be anywhere near as good as anyone in that photo. So if that gives you a little bit, there you go.
A lot of fun. That was, 2014. You're going to tell me that's 10 years ago now, aren't you?
It is 10 years ago. 2014, 10 years ago. I would have been 11 years old there, Lenny.
Yeah, well, that's even more depressing, isn't it? Where does the time go in life?
Not sure. I wish we had the answer. The days go slow and the years go fast, isn't that what they say?
Nepal have started to settle. It was a scattergun approach for the first 2 overs, but they've somehow survived half the power play. You'd suspect they're heavy favourites to win this game, but you would suspect, Aman, if they can get through the entirety of this first power play, that, well, is there any way they can lose the game then? Because you would have thought that if they're going to lose this, it's going to be a rattle of wickets early to the new ball.
Yeah, 100%. If Scotland doesn't find a way to get wickets with the new ball, with the sun beating down, grass starting to pop up just a little bit, it just feels like it's going to get easier and better to bat on. We've talked about this wicket, plenty of runs on the ground. It's just about what the conditions are in the air, and feels like our ideal batting conditions with that sun baking and these two seeing ball onto the middle of the bat. It doesn't feel like there's any way they could really throw it away. Now, we would have said that 2 days ago, that there's really no way with 99 without loss, over 15, that you should score anything on less than 300 runs, and you end up with under 250. So you're in a similar you never know, I guess, with Nepal.
Yeah, no, look, I suppose, I've no doubt I'm going to have a message now in a moment from someone on social media saying, don't say we can't lose because then we'll lose. From the Nepal fans, where they're riding the wave right now. They're currently in the we are back phase.
Yeah.
They're very much in the high point of that heartbeat from that meme. If you don't know what we're talking about, there's a brilliant meme. As they'll dash a quick single and good awareness will get them a second, get the overthrow. I think it's Jack Jarvis who's done the fielding, and his keenness to try and effect a run out, he's ended up costing an overthrow. Yeah, there was a meme. Basically went right to left. The top of the meme was we are back, and the bottom of the meme was we're so done, or something like that. And then the heartbeat of the cardiac kids riding that wave up and down. Do get in touch if you want to know any more about this league, the structure of it, what the teams are playing out for here. Any questions you have on either of the two teams or setups, you can get in contact with me, Andrew Leonard, on @CricketBadge on Twitter or Instagram. I've got Aman Patel alongside me. He's on @AP Sports News _, or you can use that hashtag CWCL2. Just do us one favour, tell us where you're watching from, because we always love to hear the kind of weird and wonderful corners of the world that fans are tuning in from. Often the Instagram inbox crashes when I say this, so if you want to be guaranteed getting through to me, get on to Twitter if you can, or try it on Instagram DM. Glorious shot. The shot of the chase. Just a push, no more than that. Doesn't try to overhit. And a cover drive of the highest quality for 4 runs.
Yeah, that's better from Sheikh. Again, that's not a half volley. It's on a length, and he's just climbed into it, and he just pushed the ball straight down. He's timed it to perfection. No need to go with unbelievable shots down the ground trying to power or muscle the ball. When you can just do this, there's plenty of runs on this surface. It comes onto the bat nicely. The outfield is fantastic, taking advantage. Picks up 4 runs to close out the 6th over.
Yeah, good start. Much better now. A bit more from Nepal. Just as I say that, they've lost their first wicket. And who else would it be but Brandon McMullen? Did look as though it might have been a little leg side-ish, but the finger went immediately, straight away. Squared up, sad, just never looked settled in his knock. And he's been adjudged to be LBW.
Yeah, McMullen back into the attack and straight into the wickets. Let's take a look. It's jumped back off the length, and he's played all around it. And yeah, that's hit straight on middle stump. It's a good decision in the end. Very easy on that second look. And
leg stump, I think, man. I think it's definitely out. I don't think it's hitting middle. I think you could see middle.
Maybe you're right. Right.
Yeah.
We'll settle middle.
I think it's out though. Yes. And in fairness, I think it is a fair decision. I just thought at first it might have been angling, but it wasn't. Get one more look at it here. I thought the natural angle at first was that it was going to angle down, but then it kind of just held its line. So yeah, leg stump. That's going to hit middle and leg.
Let's split the difference.
So Anil Shah is gone after a topsy-turvy innings. He's been dismissed for 13. And here's a big surprise. Monty Desai is fond of this. He is fond of flexibility in his batting lineup. The young batter to the crease. It's not Kushal Bertel. We just said he's found his new role at number 3 in ODI cricket. It is going to be Kushal Malla who will come to the crease. He usually bats at 4 or 5. He's known as a very aggressive attacking player. Why is he being sent in? Is it purely left hand, right hand?
I think that would be the thought, just to try to throw the Scottish bowlers off rhythm a little bit because of how good they are swinging the ball, how accurate they've been. You can just get the left-hander in and just create a little bit of an issue with the ball moving all around. And Andrew Leonard, I think you got some unhappy fans from you.
I've been told I jinxed it by saying that the chase was going well. 2 slips in place. Yeah, apologies. Sometimes we should say nothing. But they were cruising at that point as Malla gets off the mark. It's a nice clip around the corner. That's Shrizan, who's watching on from Boston and enjoying the action. He says, "You jinxed it, Lenny. Why did you have to say it?" We don't control the action on the pitch, I assure you. Sagar is watching on from Plymouth in the United Kingdom. And he says, "Hello, Lenny, I'm watching from Plymouth in the United Kingdom. The question I've got for you is, how important is it for Nepal to field first?" And I'm not just talking about today's match. Yeah, some teams like to chase, don't they? Today was a big toss.
Yeah, today in particular, with just the overcast conditions that you had, very unlike what we see here in Grand Prairie, you had to bowl first on a fresh wicket. I'm not necessarily sure that they need to field first in every match. I know they have the kind of grit in their middle order to chase totals down, but oftentimes you rely on the strength, and it feels like the bowling at times can be a real strength for Nepal, and I feel like they can win on either end of the coin.
Yeah, I think in this calendar year the batting has been more erratic, and I think particularly when conditions are tough, whether that be more lateral movement or, as we saw up in King City, more up and down bounce allied with some lateral movement, Nepal can struggle. Now, half an appeal. I'm not sure if McMullen definitely got a hand on it, but Malla was safely back anyway. So Sheikh will get a single. I think they bat better on better surfaces. I know that sounds absolutely blatant, but if you talk about, I think they can bat better than their opposition can bat on better surfaces, whereas when they're on more difficult surfaces, because they don't encounter them necessarily as much, as you see Malla clearly back, good technique, watching the bowler release and then watching them bowl. That's what you should do at the non-striker's end. 7 bowled, 34 for 1. But yeah, I think when it gets difficult, one of the things that surprised me in points of this year has been that they've struggled against spin, and they play so much spin they should be better against it. There's a look there. He might have actually got a finger on that, but the key was Mala was safely home. Just hear from lots of fans now messaging in. Farouk is watching on from India. No Kushal Bertel was used while bowling, and now this, not at number 3. What's your take? Why is that?
I'd reckon it's purely left-hand, right-hand combination, just trying to give Scotland another thing to think about when they bowl, not allowing them to just operate on the same lines and lengths, which we know they can do. But based on the start also, it almost feels like Nepal and Monty Desai want to be aggressive early, and Kusharmala gives you that option more so than Kushal Bertel does as just a pure natural form of a game.
Getting messages from all across the world now, and we love hearing from where you're watching from. You see Paze watching on from Melbourne, heading to work now. I've watched through the whole night. I haven't been to bed yet, listening to your commentary on my commute to work. I don't know what time it is in Melbourne. Prakash Kandel watching on from Copenhagen in Denmark. He says, Jai Nepal. Rohan Chalice watching on from Chattanooga in
Tennessee.
Good knowledge, Aman, from Tennessee, correct. He's booked his flights for Dallas for the 3rd. He's going to be at the final game. I can't sit on my desk and work ananymore when Nepal is playing. Don't tell my boss. No problem. We don't know where you work. It's okay. Just hope he's not watching the game. Sagar watching on. We've heard from him watching from Plymouth. Nishal Guragain says, always love to hear your stories, guys. Not a very weird place for me, though I'm watching from Finland. I didn't mean any of your places are weird. More the exotic nature. We love to hear the exotic places.
Yeah, we love to see cricket fans in all corners of the globe.
Exactly. And I was trying to get through the Instagram the other day. Someone watching from Brazil. In the game 48 hours ago.
Beautiful.
We've got another man who says, please don't mention my name because I'm at work, but I'm watching from Finland. He says, why don't the ICC and associate boards organise first-class matches for ODI status countries to help them prepare for playing against test nations in the future? Comes back to that budget point we were making in the first innings.
It's just, you have so many, like you mentioned, you have so many opportunities to play right now. The World Cup's 2 every 3 years that they really, you can't just anticipate. Depending on how long it is you're going to get to test status, you can't just say, oh, we're going to do this for preparation 10 years down the road, 12 years down the road, versus you have 2 of 3 World Cups coming within 3 years.
The Troll Cricket Nepal team have been at it again.
I saw this. This is brilliant.
Never question our passion cricket badge. They do it with a wiki face. I know they're joking. And then they've done a meme of a blacked out city. After midnight, the moon is shining, and the only light that is on is the Nepalese cricket fan. And that is the passion.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's been great to see firsthand, really for the first time for myself. And seeing it online, but seeing it in person is just a whole other level.
Beats the inside edge. Good stuff from Will. Durlav Canal says, I don't get why people criticise the Nepalese players and the captain. Most are under 25, and many of the players are even teenagers. Whereas other countries, their captains are usually in their 30s. Constantly changing players and captains just would bring in new and inexperienced faces. We need consistency and support to help them grow as a team. Well said, Mr. Canal.
Very well said. Again, it's the group that you have, and it's about building a positive structure within that group. And if that group is tight-knit and they are able to do the basics well, they're going to find a way to perform.
A lot of Scandinavian fans on. Pratik Canal watching from Bergen in Norway. Such a good time to watch in Central European time because I think it's 8:45 back home. Nepal must win this match. That's all I can say at this moment. And I think you echo the thoughts of a lot of Nepal fans. 8 overs bowled, 36 for 1. A nice here from the real CH who's watching on from downtown Dallas. Wish I could be out in Grand Prairie with y'all, but I got to pay my bills.
Yeah, it's all good. We understand that.
One of the great things, though, is about particularly watching cricket, it's maybe not an ODI, for example. It's not like, well, I'd love to say the intensity of a basketball match, but I sat through 3 hours of boredom last night. But anyway, I'm joking. But
only slightly joking.
It's a 7.5, 8 hour day, and you can kind of sit there with one ear pod in whilst actually still doing your day's work. Hopefully, we'll keep you up to date with the kind of big moments and then also the broader picture. And that you can dip in and out of the coverage, can't you?
Yeah, it's very different from a lot of American sport where if you dip out, you're probably missing a whole bunch. Versus in ODI cricket, there's phases of the game that almost get broad, and there's time, and it's not like Test cricket where you're batting time, but it feels at points you can bat time. And I know I've experienced it too, where I'll be at work. I got a little bit of time off. Or let me pull up the ODIs, and I'll text you or let PDP whenever y'all are on call and say just talk about the game. But it's nice. You can dip in, dip out, come back, and you feel like okay, you're probably in, and you can just listen the whole time and not feel as if you have to be glued to the screen.
Yeah, and then the great thing is with the new ICC TV site, if that's where you're watching on, you can actually scroll back as well and see. You press the W at the bottom where the wicket's fallen, and go back and see that. Rahul Manandar has been messaging in. He says, at Cricket Badge, I've been following Nepal cricket for a very long time. I've not seen any stability in our 11. Can you put some light on why we fail to chase totals down? I love you, Takludai and Aman Bai.
Ah, there you go.
There we go. Well, thank you very much for the love and kindness, Rahul. Firstly, I think there has been inconsistency in the batting. I don't think there's any question about that, as this is pitched outside leg. But I think a lot of that inconsistency has been in difficult batting conditions where they've failed to adapt particularly well. I know it was tricky this morning, but I think this is a good batting surface. I would expect Nepal to chase this down. I might be wrong.
No, I think you're absolutely right. There's runs to be had on this wicket. It's not King City in that regard, where it was very tough to bat. There, you had to really stick it and have to commit yourself to just playing always on the front foot. Versus here, there are runs to be had. You can use your hands much more freely and really attack the bowler and look to score some runs. And I mean, you're a popular man. The inbox is full. I've got one in my inbox that's been sitting for a while, and I bring it up now because it's the fourth ball of the over. And Sagar Gamiri, I think I've said that right.
Gamiri, yeah.
He says, quick question. I'm wondering why do umpires raise their two fingers sometimes when the fast bowler is bowling in the middle of the over? Just curious, what does that mean? Well, they're just signaling to the square leg umpire, or just asking if this is the correct amount of balls left in the over. So typically they do the second, because if you do it on the last, you could miss you could be one off. If you do the second to last, or what you think is second to last, you have that one buffer. So he's asking, 2 balls left, sir? And oftentimes our umpires are so good, they'll say, yeah, 2 balls left.
As a helicopter flies overhead. Yeah, that's the perfect description. So it's part of the umpire's process. They always check. It's a routine to check. With 2 to go, you will indicate like a little peace sign or a V or however you want to describe it across to your partner. They'll give you the 2 back. That will indicate that both umpires in their count have got 2 balls to go. Therefore, after that ball, they know there's 1 to go, and that they'll call over, presuming there's no wides or no balls. Hand the cap over to the bowlers we've just seen. Umpire Vijaya Malala do, and then they know that the over is called. If at that point, when they both signal 2 to each other, they don't signal 2, they know there's a problem. They can get on the walkie-talkie to the scorer and say, sorry, is there 3 or 4 gone on the over, or maybe 5, if they've miscounted. All part of the routine, just like the batters have a routine. And the bowlers do as well. Yeah, we're really going to struggle to get to these ones on Instagram, but do let us know where you're watching from. Hearing from Bakash in Lisbon in Portugal. Desperate to get a win for Nepal. Great to hear from you. Never a shortage of opinions, is there, from the Nepal fans either? That's one of the things I love. If you're a supporter, you're entitled to your opinion. Sujan KC says, I think Kushal Bertel should be at number 3 and Mala down at 5 or 6. It's just not right to keep juggle the batting position all the time. Why do they do it? Yeah,
again, it's kind of it's a difference in philosophy, I guess, right? There are some coaches that are very much, this is your role, you're batting here, and whatever the situation is, this is where you bat. And Monty Desai is the one where he likes to be fluid and he likes to exploit matchups in different moments in the game.
Oh, no, that's chopped him in half. Looks like Mala's going to have a battle here with Wheel, because just this angle over the wicket is causing him some problems.
Yeah, it's very good, isn't it? It's the ability for him to seam it away and then get one to seam back, or just stay not as much away from Mala, who's using a lot of his hands. He hasn't used his feet quite well enough yet. And this is, again, a big part of the question. Why would it not be a Kushal Bertel who showed good signs in the T20s, at least, that he's able to use his feet, use his hands nicely, get onto the front foot, and then swivel onto the back? It's all part of this Monty Desai thought process.
Yeah, for me, I'll be honest, Monty Desai knows these players better than anyone. But I am surprised to see Mala at 3. I'm a great advocate of his. I think he's a fine batter. But I think I would agree with Sujan, who's messaged in there, that Mala's strength tends to be his power hitting, particularly his playing of left arm spin. he's got a brilliant record against that, and Mark Watt is one of the most dangerous bowlers in the Scottish side. He's there for a slip. You can see him in the top right of your screen. I would imagine that Mala's role at number 4, 5 or 6, or particularly number 5, if it's going to be Bertel at 3 and Powell at 4, would have made the most sense. If there is a weakness, it's against express pace for Mala. And I know Wheel's he's not 90 plus miles an hour like Chris Hull can get up to, but he's rapid, he's quick enough, and he's also bowling a lovely rhythm and routine. And this matchup, to me, Wheel to Mala, looks to be a good one for Scotland. So he's done well to get down the non-strikers end now, Kushal Mala. He's broad-shouldered, he's a big hitter. It might not be playing to Mala's strengths, get him in at number 3.
Yeah, especially with the ball doing a little bit off the surface, you can just see, even with him understanding that there's going to be width, he's willing to really throw his hands at it. He's almost rooted, stuck with his feet. And I agree, would be much better suited off, when the ball's not doing as much. We can just get in and use his power to his advantage. And again, you're going to see some spin. You're going to see some left arm spin in this Scottish attack. But yeah, interesting moves here from Monty Desai so far.
Yeah, if you look at his career, he's now played 39 one-day internationals. This is his 35th innings. It's the 8th time he's batted at number 3. He's batted twice at number 4. The majority of his knocks have been at 5 or 6, 10 and 8 there. And then he has actually even batted at number 7 and number 8. The number of Nepal batters you will see, I think Gulshan Jazz batted everywhere from 3 to 9. But the number that you'll see in a variety of roles is, well, it demonstrates Monty Desai's approach and want for flexibility in his order. And for the moment, Mala's still there. 10 overs bowled. The power play belongs to Nepal, despite the loss of that one wicket. It's 38 for 1. They've got more towards the total that we expected, despite the manic start. Sudeep Gamire is watching on from Darshantar and Nuwakot. He wants a shout out. There you are. Rejmi is watching on from Annecy in France. We are hearing from Avash, who's watching on from Newcastle in Australia. Suman Simkada is watching on from Germany. And he even sends a little photo of his setup. He's got it up. That's one of the other great things, isn't it? You can get it onto the smart TV.
It's quite good.
Stick it up. And the quality with the cameras we have here should be full HD. Hope you're enjoying the coverage. We're hearing from Roni, who's watching on Fancode from India, New Delhi. He says, I love the way that you represent associate cricket in front of all the other commentators, and I would love to meet you one day. Jai Nepal, Jai Ireland. Well, that's a lovely message. Thank you so much, Roni. Brad Curry back into the attack. Bit of a movement away from the left-hander. That's the direction the wind is going. Look, it's a great honour. Aman, I know the associate game is something you care hugely about as well. It deserves more oxygen, more coverage, more praise, and more support.
Yeah, and I think you're starting to see more and more people tune in. Again, especially with the expanded World Cups, you're getting more and more eyes on it. We've seen Ian Bishop talk about it on global stage, and then you're getting more fans who would have only watched in India or in Australia or in England say, oh, wait, hold on, Scotland's a great side. Nepal's got great fans. This team, USA can beat anybody, right? And you're seeing more of that happen now when they start to gravitate towards the associates.
And also how thrilling, dramatic, and contextual the cricket is, and how brilliant it is.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing in a world where you see a lot of people complain about ODIs and bilateral ODIs in particular from the full member sides, because it just feels like a one-off ODI event that doesn't really make any difference in terms of rankings. You go down to League 2, and every single ODI matters because you're building to get into the World Cup, and then if you don't win, then you can lose your ODI status. There's risk-reward in both ends of the stick here. And
as many of the players will tell you, they're playing for their livelihoods. Yeah. You lose your ODI status, as Papua New Guinea have done, it's a several $100,000 hit to the budgets of your country, your cricket board, and also a loss of 36 one-day international fixtures over 2.5 years. And it's a very difficult path back. You've got to play exceptionally well, as Canada did in the last cycle, to not just, in that case they needed to win the Challenge League, in this case you can finish top 2, and then go to a playoff and under the most intense pressure find a way to get past the other sides, which Canada did in that. Sanskar is watching on from Kansas City, Sanskar Naponi. He says, it's the home of the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs have started with a 7-game winning streak, but it's a 7-game losing streak in ODIs for Nepal. Come on, my man. Get a little bit of that Chiefs positivity. Get a bit of Patrick Mahomes vibes out to the Nepali team. hearing from Raman Bhattarai, watching on from Sydney. God knows what time it is down there. Please, Lenny, don't say Nepal will win until they've won on the last ball. My apologies. They should win today. I will say that much.
They should. Again, this is a game that's set up for them to win. They've done all the hard work. And Bishwas Sharma, he's watching in way north from Texas in Edmonton, Canada. He says, happy Tihar to all the Nepalis around the world. And he says, did I Maya? So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but happy Diwali to everyone watching. And again, I think they'd be a joy to start out Diwali with a Nepal win. And they're on the right track. Again, this is a game set up for them to find their way over the victory line. They have plenty of time to do it. 9 wickets in hand. They're favorites at this point. And unless you see a major collapse here, this should be smooth sailing.
You're not learning your Nepali yet.
Well, I'm starting now, Lenny. That's the
Deary,
beauty.
deary Maya. Look at the emoji.
It is a heart.
Lots of love to you.
Lots of love to you.
Deary, deary Maya.
There you go.
Got about 20 words of Nepali. I think Tiksa can get you out of almost any hole. Anywhere you're in trouble in Nepal. Tiksa? Sub-Tiksa. Bowls him. Oh, no, it doesn't, but it is LBW. I thought it got through. It was so full and so straight. And in essence, he wheeled away in almost celeb appeal. I thought it was going to hit the stumps. It didn't need to. It hit the pad, and that was good enough. And the experiment of Mala 3, last only 18 deliveries. He's trapped for 7. Here's the wobble from Nepal.
Yeah, it hasn't worked in their favor here, Kushal Malla. And again, it's just been a painstaking stay at the crease. He hasn't known when to come forward, when to go back. And you can just see here, he's kind of just stuck in no man's land. Gets across himself, just tries to get the bat down. It's clear as day. That one's going to go on to hit the stumps. The only question was the line, but I don't think he's come quite enough across to make that a huge question. The second wicket falls. It's 42 for 2, and Brad Curry's done what he's done best. He picks up a wicket here in his third over.
You can see why I thought it bowled him, because Brad Curry just wheeled away in celebration. Stuart Broad, eat your heart out. There was no question to the umpire here. I don't think he's ever looked back at one point. Watch the ball, but at the same time, watch Brad Curry. So it's hit the pad. I thought it might have flicked the off stump then. Look at him. He never turns around. This is one that gets a lot of value on social. Stuart Broad, the celeb appeal, particularly in the county championship in England, when the ball's nibbling about at the start of the season. Brad Wheel to continue. Interestingly, it's not Rohit Powdell, his normal position at 4. It's Kushal Bertel. He'll be at the non-strikers end. Asif Sheikh has looked good, but, well, I suppose Nepal fans will be saying there's always a wobble. There's always a twist and a turn. And I was just watching a few of the fans as they saw the dismissal of Mala. You could see hands to the heads. Oh, no, here we go again. Surely not. Nicely played by Asif Sheikh. It'll be a single. Every run will be cheered here by the Nepal fans that have come in. Probably about 200 in now. More and more growing through the afternoon. Yeah, there's always a twist. And the fascinating thing now is it's not Powdell, despite his brilliance the last day at number 4, his regular slot. He's dropped down one to number 5. It's Kushal Bertel in at number 4. I think it might be the first time he's batted at this position in ODI cricket. I'll check that. But do you understand some of the frustration of Nepal fans with this constant tinkering with the order?
Yeah, I can understand it, especially because of how good Kushal Bertel was, especially in that T20 series. Scored that first 50 batting at the number 3, and this is why he's in.
Here's the celeb appeal. Now, just keep your eyes on Brad Curry. Ignore everything else.
Yeah,
he's never looked back. Stuart Broad, eat your heart out. Bertel down the ground, driven nicely. Just missed the start of it. But that gets maybe the loudest cheer of the day. Maybe a cheer of relief as much as anything. Fraction over pitched, and just a nice, elegant straight bat shown by Bertel to get his innings up and underway.
And maybe the move to bring him down to 4 works. The ball not quite doing as much as it was earlier. And maybe that's the idea here for Monty Desai after a day where he really did struggle against the USA 48 hours ago. You're seeing him play with a much more positive approach, and it seemed to work for him. First boundary on the board.
Follows it up with a wide down the leg side. Well, can I give you some numbers here? Man, Kushal Bertel batted almost exclusively opening the batting for his first 48 ODIs. He did it 48 times out of 50. He batted at 5 once and 6 once. Don't know why that was. And then, in fact, I think that was 2024. Anyway, whenever it was, career-wise now, he's batted opening the batting 48 times. This beats the outside edge. He's batted once at 3, once at 4, once at 5, once at 6, and twice at 7.
He's just all encompassing. Right where you need him to bet, he'll do it.
They've made the decision to take him out of opening the batting.
Yeah.
And with Anil Sand in the team and the potential Dev Canal, I know he's here as a travelling reserve. He's one who I think might evolve into an opening batter, or actually possibly the number 3 for Nepal. Such an elegant driver of the ball in particular. But would you not give Bertel a new role and let him stick with it? Let him stick at number 3 for, 2 tours, 3 tours. We saw what he could do at number 3 in the T20s.
Again, it would make a lot of sense to do that, just because it would give you an opportunity and give him an opportunity to just get acclimated to different conditions. Because batting at number 3 can be so many different things, can't it? It can be you're in and over number 1 and you have to claw your way through an innings. It could be your openers batted 10 overs, but they didn't really get any runs on the board. You have to find a way to score. There's a lot of different things that can happen in number 3 as the 12th over comes to a close. It's 50 for 2. But it feels and especially in ODI cricket, number 3 is such a hot commodity. Your number 3's got to bat well, that you want to give him an extended run. I can understand that Manjusai likes the fluidity and likes the ability of his team to adapt, but almost could that be a reason as to why they don't particularly adapt well when conditions are strange? Because no one really has that defined role in their system.
Every run is going to be cheered here, and it is being cheered by Nepal's fans. Asif Sheikh, he's impressed me. He played a couple of errant strokes in that first 2 or 3 overs on both batters. I don't know whether they were nervous or something, but since then, he's shown the quality of his technique. He's put value on his wicket, and that's all he needs to do. The 50s come up. There is no question that if Nepal bat even 40 of these 50 overs, let alone all 50, they'll probably win the game. They just need to bat some time. And that will frustrate Scotland. That's a good leave. Just what you need to do. No need to go after anything. Don't give wickets away. And this would be a big win, make no mistake.
Yeah, again, it's against the foremost associate ODI side in the world. And they handled with the ball. They manhandled them with the ball. They steamrolled through them. And now you have an opportunity to just claw your way into an opportunity for a win. And if you're worried about net run rate, your net run rate will be fine. If you get a win here, it's not going to take you 50 overs to get the remaining runs. You only need 155.
Good delivery. You're going to get some good deliveries like that as well. And you're going to get the occasional one where there's nothing you can do about it. But that's not... We're talking about the approach. We're talking about how you approach this chase and find a way with the least possible risk. A wicket or 2 here, all of a sudden there could be important. Sheikh looks very solid at the other end, and Scotland, as you'd expect them to, fighting hard and probing away. Another nice straight drive. It's the second one of his innings. This is like the Bertel we saw at number 3 in the T20 series. He's got to double figures already, overpitched and punished.
Yeah, he's done that now twice. The first time was off Brad Wield, and this time off Brad Curry. Again, overpitched. It was swinging just a bit, but he's covered the swing. He's followed it with his hands quite nicely. And again, it's just a gentle push down the ground. He hasn't looked to overhit it. He's just timed it to perfection. That's the real keys here. Versus what we saw from, Sa, where he was trying to muscle everything over. As you can see, just timing, control on every shot off the bat of Bertel and Sheikh so far.
Yeah, and every time you get a boundary to a bad ball, because that was a bad ball, it was pitched, you can just see it will deflate Scotland. Any pressure that's being built up, because it's such a low total they're defending. There is almost no way Scotland can get the scoreboard into this game. They cannot bring the scoreboard pressure in terms of the required run rate. The only way they can do that is by taking wickets. So you control the wickets that are falling, you control the game, you control the chase, and then you get 2 points on the table, and all of a sudden thinking, hold on, can we beat USA like we should have in the last game? And then the table's looking a bit better. 13 overs bowled, 6 from the 13th. It's 55 for 2. Still lots of questions coming in, and almost every part of the world. I didn't expect this one. Jay Desh messages in. He's on a business trip to China, and I'm watching from Beijing, even though it's 4 a.m. here, and I've got a meeting tomorrow at 10. I just can't stop. He asks, what do we think about a bowling coach in Team Nepal? They did hire one for the T20 World Cup. They did indeed. That was the Barbadian bowling coach who came in with all of his experience. Roddy Eswick, that was just for the World Cup and the kind of the home conditions that he really helped with. Do you think they should hire a permanent bowling coach? These things always come down to resources. Got a great coaching staff here, and I think, you know, with Monty Desai, Jagat Tamada, Pabulu Dasanayake, you could not ask for more. One more to read out as well. Zero Kill watching from South Korea, but also we did speak about this the other day. Just lost it now, of course. Well, it's disappeared, but somebody, apologies for not getting your name, asked about, did we get to watch Nepal women's football team? We didn't watch it live, but we've seen the highlights and indeed the rather excited commentary since, which we got a lot of entertainment from. Sabitra Bandari, she's popularly known as Samba. She's really the talk of the town in Nepal. That final, I think it's going to be tomorrow in front of what I believe is an already sold-out stadium, to the point where they're urging nobody to come near the national stadium in case of overcrowding. And yeah, what a story that would be if they can beat Bangladesh tomorrow. Oh,
it'd be brilliant. I know the streets of Nepal would just be on fire after that one.
Yeah, real fervour. First time I've actually, I know 10, 15 years ago there was the men's team did okay at points, and that sparked a bit of excitement. This is the first time I've heard of any football fervour across Nepal. It's always been cricket when I've been there, and it will be next month for the Nepal Premier League. Again, lots of questions coming in about that. Diran watching on from Virginia. Happy Tihar, he says. Govinda watching on from Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Anurag watching on from London. He's from the same hometown as Arif and Asif Sheikh. And Tardez watching on from Nepal. Samarpan wondering, Andrew, he says, at Cricket Badge, what would the journey of the Nepal cricket team to qualify for the top 2 in Cricket World Cup League 2 be like? Can we recreate our historic run? This is down the leg side. Should be a couple of leg buys. Bertel's quick between the wickets. We'll show you the points table at the end of the over. Very much still possible. There are 36 ODIs to be played. So even if you're in a bad position at the end of the series, you've only played a third of your games, 12 for Nepal.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're not relegated to having to need a magical run quite yet. You just have to get some wins on the board now. You're still in a position where you can control your own fate. It's just about putting good things together early and building yourself up for the back half of this tournament.
It's a maiden for McMullen, because the only runs from the over were the 2 leg buys. Good consistency from him. 5 overs, 1 for 11. What an asset he is for Scotland. Fine, fine player. Here is the points table. It's the top 4 rather than the top 3 that it was the last time that will qualify for the Cricket World Cup qualifier. We don't know where that's going to be yet. But yeah, for Nepal, I suppose, is one of the goals, I know it's a mini goal here, but is one of the goals to get past Oman by the end of this tour.
You have to imagine, yeah, especially with Oman not having played great cricket as of late. And again, you have to just slowly start identifying targets, almost like you're running a marathon, right? Or you're cycling one of those long races. You just have to pick your targets slowly but surely. Just get through one, get past the other. And Oman right now, that's the first hurdle. Can they get past them? Can they get a point on the board? Then can you get past Namibia? Maybe you bring Scotland down if you're able to get matches on Scotland. But by the end of the tour, Oman should be what's in their foresights.
Here is Mark Watt into the attack. First sign of spin in the second innings. And misfield from Richie Berrington, of all people, just went out of his grasp at extra cover. Not happy, is he, Mark Watt, with that, allowing the single. We were speculating a lot last month in Canada. Again, it's early to be speculating about this, but the League Two table has a bit of a top half, bottom half feel to it, with USA and Canada very much joining Scotland and the Netherlands as the four form sides in the league so far, and then Oman and UAE in all sorts of trouble, looking horribly out of form in ODI cricket, although they'll have a chance to correct that in their home conditions or local conditions. It'll be held in Muscat. Bowls him, he's chopped on. Asif Sheikh cannot believe it because he's done all the hard work. Challenged on the inside edge by one that didn't really turn. The wind is the factor there. And Nepal just having a bit of a wobble. And maybe a few shapes from the Dallas Mavericks game last night. A dribble from Watt and a three-pointer as he celebrates the wicket in, well, unique style.
Unique style. Indeed. It felt a lot like Kyrie Irving from yesterday. And this one is a very good delivery. He's drifted quite well. And again, just look, it just doesn't turn. It almost just straightens up a bit, but he's just played all over the inside edge, chopped it onto stumps, and a little bit of that door opening for Scotland as they just peer through. And after doing all the hard work, Asif Sheikh has to walk.
Oh. So Asif Sheikh is dismissed for 21, bowled by Mark Watt for... Well, he looked really good, didn't he? Be frustrated with that, having done all the hard work. It will bring Rohit Paudel to the crease. Just the man you would want in a crisis, in good form on this tour. 50 in the T20s. Just watch this ball. This isn't the arm ball. You might think it is because of what happens here, because of the wind, but you can see it grips in the surface and just holds. It's the hold as much as the turn that's caused the problem. But that wind forcing the ball so hard across its gusting 20-25 miles an hour, and that is what's helped Watt pick up that wicket. And now Nepal have a game in their hands, and the Demons, the lack of winning in this format, definitely going to start preying on the mind. Can they show the mental toughness and the cricketing skill to make sure that they get over the line? Does 155 start to look a long way away for Nepal fans?
For Nepal fans, yes, indeed. I think the one positive thing you have is Rohit Paudil's in the middle, and the one thing we know about Rohit Paudil is he's able to assess situations, and he doesn't really get affected by game situations. He's always so calm, so cool-headed. He's coming off a great knock. You still are well in this game. Just 94 to go. Just take your time, stick in, build an innings, build a partnership, and don't let Scotland have a sniff.
Wicket taking over, and a great change of bowling by Richie Berrington, bringing Mark Watt into the attack. He's got his first, and he is a world-class operator, I'll tell you much. Certainly something that the Nepal Premier League teams will be thinking about. Can they get Mark Watt to Kathmandu next month? Here's that table again. Just to remind you, it's the top four teams that will take the 4 spots in the Cricket World Cup qualifier. The top half, bottom half feel we have to things. That's with due respect to Namibia, who have not been at their best. They've had some real injury problems. No, Ruben Trumpelman has left a much more toothless attack than they would have liked. As we're back live with you now, Bertel works it down for a single. Canada have been really impressive, having been promoted. I still think that might be a misnomer. In December 2026, if they're still in the top 4, I think they'll have played really well to be there.
Yeah, I think their best cricket came earlier in the year, and they've almost faltered since then. Their best cricket's been played earlier in the year, and they've almost just tapered off really since the World Cup leading into that point. And from that moment, they haven't been playing at their very, very best. And so they really need to turn things around in a huge way to get back up to the top.
Edged and gone. It's McMullen again, and it's the big one. It's Rowan Powdell, who's just kind of poked at one outside the off stump. Come on, says Mark Watt, because he knows that's the big one that Scotland desperately wanted. And now there's a wobble. Now there's a real twist. Now there's a turn. Scotland fighting ever so hard. And this is just, well, it's a bit of a tame dismissal.
He hasn't done much wrong. Yes, he's poked outside the off stump, but it's pretty decent delivery. It's swinging away after the angle in. And real credit to Mark Watt, who's kept the hands low, picked it up off the ground. Again, not a lot wrong with the photo, but he'll be very disappointed. Needed to have a big innings today, and he hasn't come with the goods. 1 for 3.
Not the official drinks break yet. We're probably right on the stroke of it. Although there are a few drinks being run on. And now, well, a few concerned faces, aren't there? This is where you start to question, why would you change the order? Why wasn't Powdell at 4? Why wasn't it Bertel at 3? Looks disappointed, understandably, Rowan Powdell. And it's another change to the order. It's the man for a crisis. It's the Iceman himself, Arif Sheikh. He comes to the crease. You can understand why they've sent him in. No problem with this decision. And there's still plenty of batting to come. Nepal still favourites, but all of a sudden they're giving all of their followers some absolute nightmares back late at night. At what time is it back in Kathmandu and in Pokhara? 2 a.m., 2:04 a.m. there. Oh dear. Great stuff from Scotland, outstanding from then. McMullen, what a cricketer he is. First slip in place, and he's joined by a floater. That's sort of third slip. And it's been edged in between them. Oh, would you believe it? Game on here in Grand Prairie, and I'm not seeing anything dramatic out of this pitch. This is mental as much as anything right now.
Yeah, again, it's that when you're looking not to lose rather than to win, that just feels like what Nepal has done ever since those first couple of wickets have fallen. They've come back into their shell, and they've almost decided, okay, we just have to sit here, and they've decided they're not going to lose this versus they're going to try and win it. Arif Sheikh, he's the man you want in the middle for this situation. It actually suits him quite nicely. Reason he played a rash shot yesterday, yes, but they needed to get a move on today. Can take his time.
Nice drive. Amazing, isn't it? Even a single's being greeted with cheers like it's a boundary as Jones does the fielding. Great to hear from Paul Coffey, who's watching on from a pub in Glasgow. Can't think of a better place to watch the cricket than a pub in Glasgow. He says he's known Andy Umeed since he was 10 years old. He went to school with my daughter. He and Madi Iqbal, who's one of the fine support staff, the coaches that are here, both from my club, the West of Scotland, CC in Glasgow. There's a great club cricket scene in Scotland as the Nepal fans give us a wave. Not too sure about that Arsenal football jersey that one of them's wearing. Has a little bit of shape away again from McMullen. Good glove work from Matthew Cross. There's, I think, hopefully going to get this right, I think it's over 150 clubs, closer to 200 clubs all across Scotland. And there's more cricketers in Scotland than there are rugby players, and that often surprises someone. It's the second most played sport after football in Scotland. Real history and heritage. And speaking of history and heritage, what about that Dhaka Topi? That's a beauty there on the left. 16 bowled, 65 for 4.
They spread far and wide. The Dhaka Topi, you can see it everywhere you go here, especially at a Nepal match, and here in the U.S. as well. Abhishek Bhamjan, it's just incredible. He says, "Hello, Takludai and Mumbai, watching live from California. I'm taking a sick leave holiday to see the Nepal game and hoping they win." Jay Nepal.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, Niraj Dahal says 2:07 a.m. We're still watching. Anjeet is now worrying, are we even going to win this, he says. Samarpan Powdell, being a fan of the Nepali cricket team is like sacrificing all your night's sleep just in the hope of sacrificing the gain of 2 points. Well, don't panic yet. There's still a lot of cricket to be played. It's probably going to be more dramatic than it could or should have been. But Nepal still control their own destiny. They need 90, and they've got lots of batting to come. Remember, Gulshan Jad, Dipender Singh Airi, still there. And even the likes of Sampal Kami, Karen Casey, Sandeep Lamachani, all very capable with the bat. So even those 6 men left in the hutch can all get runs. They'd much rather these two put on a big total. I love this question from Ramad. He says, the question to both of you, Andrew and Aman, have you ever watched a cricket game starting late at night and still watch it at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. I think you got two Badgers on here. I think it's pretty assured yes from both sides.
If the question was this week, I think the answer is still yes. Yes, always. I don't think I've missed a single ball of Ireland or Nepal in recent years. I tragically watched the West Indies. They're who got me into cricket when I was a kid. Even now, I'll try to watch every game they play. I'd probably watch less of the franchise stuff. I'd watch it if it's on.
Right.
It's not like I'd turn it off, but I don't go seeking it, I suppose, unless, particularly if an associate player or an Irish player is playing in that league, and like, if Josh Little's going round, as what bowls that 24-yard and is driven very elegantly by Bertel, and good running. We'll get a couple. No Jack Jarvis with the ball yet. Will we see him shortly?
Yeah, you reckon that he would come in soon? I think wicket that McMullen just picked up is probably going to keep him in the attack for maybe one more over. They're struggling with him. See, the fans just loving the big screen. You gotta love that big screen, but imagine Watt and McMullen to continue for at least 2 more overs in tandem, and then probably going to see Jack Jarvis the next man up.
Yeah, I think Jarvis is a fine young bowler, but we'll have to wait for the second session to see him. We're in the end of the first one. Well, the first 10 overs belonged to Nepal. The next 7, when Nepal have managed to lose 3 wickets, have belonged to Scotland. The game maybe just hangs in the balance. In fact, the DLS par score right now is 71, so if anything, Nepal are behind remarkably, even though they only need 155 to win. We'll take a break here in the commentary box with the score at the first drinks break. Nepal, 70 for 4. Welcome back after the first drinks break. Into the second session now. McMullen, star of the show with 2 for 14. Wicket for Brad Curry, a celeb appeal, LBW. And then 1 for Mark Watt has left Nepal in a spot of bother. Incredible, Aman, to think that DLS par score says it's absolutely 50-50 right now. Is Duckworth Lewis Stern right?
I think they are because, again, the wickets that are fallen and Nepal's history with this.
Oh, well, a leave that's nearly brought about a wicket. I think it's going to bring about 4 runs. Nobody's done anything they were supposed to. Brandon McMullen's fallen over. Arif Sheikh's tried to leave the ball. It's come off an under edge. Andrew Umeed has got half a hand to it, but not really put his body on the line to stop it. And the end result is about as bizarre a 4 as you could imagine.
That's why the DLS would say everything's par and everything's squared up at the moment. Andrew Umeed just kind of a half-hearted left hand out there. Probably should have stopped it. I'd stand there a second slip. Yes, it's come quickly and probably wouldn't have expected it to be coming to him. But again, it's all squared away. That's a perfect example of where the game is right now.
Now, I think this has been put down. I'm going to have another look at it because, well, again, whatever the case, it's going to be 4 more. I just wonder, is this Michael Leask a backward point? Was this a diving attempt that he could have held on to? I think it's been hit in the air. Again, please forgive us. We're in a difficult position. We're not behind the bowler's arm. But it looked to me to be a catching opportunity, and it was. And it's burst through his hands. And such was the power that it was hit with, it runs away for 4 more.
Yeah, again, it's a tough opportunity. He's got to go way upstairs to get this, but he's got a good piece to it. It's why it's ballooned as much as it has, because he's got I think probably most of his palm onto it. It's hit with such power, and he is in off that circle inside the ring. But this would have been a huge moment had it's taken. Arif Sheikh is in here to stabilize the innings. And again, really good piece of camera work here. It's just ballooned straight up off the hands. How big, how costly is that in the context of this?
Now a much more authoritative cut shot. Arif Sheikh, he's known as the Iceman for a reason. He's the man for a crisis. And he doesn't really seem to feel pressure, does he? Loves ODI cricket. Gets right on top of the bounce here. Hammers this away for 4.
Yeah, this time well more in control. Got to the pitch of the ball, and this is what that drop chance is going to mean. You're giving a batter who found runs on this surface some life. Dropped him. He was just on 6 runs, and now he's making you pay for that. Again, how costly is this going to be to the informed man?
overs. 18 overs bowled. It's 83 for 4. Big appeal from Mark Watt. This may be angling down. Watt can't believe it. Matthew Cross was in unison with them as well. Did this turn enough to be given out? I think a bit too much doubt on first viewing.
Arif Sheikh signaled that there was bat involved. Now has missed the bat completely. And he has probably hit him on leg stump. And is probably continuing to go in that direction.
Yeah, Kushal Bertel there.
It didn't look like there was any bat to me on that replay.
Don't think there was a bat. The question was the angle. So look at the angle. This has to really turn. It's pitched on what? Outside off stump. Mm-hmm. But I think the angle is going to send that on down because he's on the front foot down the leg side. For me, I can understand the appeal. Absolutely ask the question as a bowler. But I think it's probably the correct decision.
No, I agree. I think it is definitely coming down with the angle. Not many deliveries have turned a long way for Watt. Everything's either straightened slightly or continued with the angle. So anything impact on leg is going to head down in that direction. Be interesting to see how Nepal continue to attack Scotland. Again, these two in the middle, you feel, and he would have to almost see the game out from here because the Pinder Singh Irie is at a short of runs at the moment. And the rest of this order, yes, it's a deeper lineup than we've had past in their last match, but Gulsen Jan Irie need to find runs quickly.
And that one's definitely angling down. Probing over this, though, from Mark Watt. He's definitely challenging both sides of the bat. He's actually challenging the inside edge more than the outside, even though he's an off-spinner, which should be turning the ball, left-arm off-spinner, that is, turning the ball away from the right-handers. Oh, and that's a beauty. Now, wait for the signal on this one, because Watt seems to be indicating that this is a drop chance. It's given as runs. It is a drop chance. Matthew Cross, of all people, one of the finest glovemen going around the associate game, has put down Arif Sheikh. He is alive.
Life number 2. Yeah, it is clearly an edge, and it's just gotten past the right thumb. That's a brilliant over from Mark Watt. He's just given up the 1 run. Maybe make it 3 runs, but he deserved a wicket in that over. He did all the hard work, and now Sheikh's been given a life not just on 6, but then again on 14. That's 2 lives given to him in the span of 2 overs. This will be huge. If Sheikh goes on to hit the winning runs, Scotland will only be kicking themselves.
Yeah, the 3rd drop of the innings as well. So Scotland, to defend low totals, usually everything has to go right, and little moments like that. Sheikh dropped on 6 by Michael Leask at backward point. That was off McMullen, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
And then now dropped, albeit again a tough chance for the keeper. Dropped again on 14. We'll see Jack Jarvis for the first time. A young cricketer of real talent, this man. I like the way he goes about his game. He's a good fielder, bowls very athletically and with good energy, up in and around 130 kilometres an hour. And his batting, it needs work, but it has potential too. Already picked up 1 franchise gig, was up in the GT20 in Canada, did pretty well too up there. He's a good young athlete.
Yeah, he is, and again, he comes down with an interesting angle with the way he bowls. It's almost a very difficult 3rd pacer in a T20 setup just because everything's angled in towards the stumps.
Oh, now this is going to be very, very close. Oh, bat is the indication from umpire Jermaine Lindo. If there wasn't bat, and I didn't hear bat, I can't imagine what this is missing. Scotland were convinced.
First, I thought Berto might have done well enough to step outside the line of off stump. But again, the indication straight away was bat. I don't reckon it's got any bat on it. Again, not on that look.
I heard a thud of the pad and nothing else. Cut away. Yeah, you were just talking about the angle, weren't you, that Jarvis creates. It's the angle in, and oh, this was hitting middle, wasn't it, if there's no bat? I don't know if we can get another look, but Lindo's been in the hot seat today, hasn't he? Here's the zoomed up look. Well, it looks a long way from the bat, doesn't it?
It does. It looks incredibly far away. For me, again, what I was looking at firsthand was he in line with the stumps, and on that he is in line. It looks like it's 3 reds unless there's bat involved, and on that look, it doesn't look as if there was anywhere near any bat.
Scotland will feel as though they've been hard done by. Remember, Michael Leask was given out to a similar one that he did inside edge in the first innings. Clipped away. It's a nice stroke by Arif Sheikh. He's been really positive since he's come in, hasn't he, Charlie Tier? He's usually a keeper. He's somebody who could take the gloves. He does the fielding down at fine leg. Yeah, Mark Watt's reaction. Something that I always go on. We're never critical of umpires. We understand they've got the toughest job in the game. But something I often go on, particularly at this level, when we're kind of far away, we've got limited cameras, it's just the player's reaction, the kind of genuine reaction, as Leask does well at backward point. And that, I'm not talking about the kind of histrionics or the appeal. But it's kind of the reaction of the players after the decision's being given. We saw it from Watt in the catch that was dropped, because that was what kind of indicated to us that there was an edge. We can't tell from here, particularly on first view. We're so far away as to whether there's an edge or not. But that's what indicated the edge. What we're going to show you after this ball is just the replay again. Keep your eyes on Mark Watt again at first slip, as Jarvis, well, may have been a touch unlucky. Fascinating first over from Jarvis. 4 runs come from it, 90 for 4. So keep your eyes, well, I suppose, firstly on the ball thudding into the pad, but then just watch Mark Watt and to a lesser extent Matthew Cross as well.
Yeah, you see right there, it's straight away. They're both so sure of it. And then as soon as he shakes the head, you could just see Mark Watt just before we cut away. You could just see the shake of the head. He just couldn't quite believe it. He got down, hands on his knees. And again, it's always a good indication at first slip. They have a pretty decent view.
Yeah, and the other kind of indicator, the barometer, like you saw where Matthew Cross, he was in no way going on the leg side, not going to the offside.
No, yeah.
It's going to go on and smash into middle, but the decision was given not out because Jermaine Lindo indicated, you could see it there, he said that it hit the bat. Good batting, good use of the feet. Arif Sheikh's been really fluent, isn't he? Really positive since he's come to the crease. They just need 10 good overs here, Nepal, 15 good overs. You put this game to bed. And maybe, just now, some of those wobbles, some of those concerns, some of the drama, some of the stress of the Nepal fans has been a little bit calmed. There's a couple more runs. The runs are starting to come quickly now.
Yeah, you've seen the approach from, especially Arif Sheikh, to use his feet, to use his hands to get to the line of the ball, to attack these bowlers, not allow them to just operate. And I think it comes from a lot of confidence of the surface, especially 48 hours ago. The way he played was brilliant. As Bertel pulls up twice, and Mark Watt's not happy because he stopped Watt originally.
Yeah, so I think what Watt is trying to do here, this was, well, it was fascinating up in Edinburgh for the Scotland series against Australia. There was one delivery up there that, so you just keep your eyes here. Watt wants to bowl it now, but he's just saying he's not ready. The batter is 100% entitled to do that. What he did against, I'm trying to remember the batter. There was a moment of real controversy, lit up social media. Watt delivered one from 25 yards. Joss English it was,
yeah,
who was clearly in a position indicating that he was ready to receive the ball, and then once the ball is in the air, he pulled out. It was the one that Watt delivers from right next to the umpire, 25, 26 yards, and it went on to hit the stumps. I thought it should have been given out. I actually still think it should have been given out. But according to the very letter of the law, although it's a little opaque, as some of the laws are, basically the batter's entitled to pull out any time he wants.
I don't think batters would be gifted anything in this commentary box. You got two bowlers, but yeah, it's always interesting to see how late an umpire will let the batter pull out. This 21st over comes to a close, 95 for 4. And it's something that you often see, maybe more so often, maybe like a test cricket sense of things where all these different things happen. You're out there for a long time. Sometimes batters will just kind of pull out very, very late. And it's just, when is that moment? When is the moment that you can no longer pull out? Because if you're telling me it's in the air after the bowler released it, and that they can pull out at any point while the ball is in the air, it just doesn't make sense. I could pull it right before it bounces, and it could be a Yorker, and I say, oh, I don't want to play it. And now you have to re-bowl it. There's a lot of room for wiggle here. I feel like there's got to be almost this understanding between both sides of when we're ready, when is it too late to say, oh no, I don't want to face this delivery.
Driven flowingly again. Arif Sheikh is playing a little gem of a knock. It's changing this game. Slightly overpitched, but given the real treatment, what a cover drive that is.
Yeah, Jarvis was operating back of a length this time, just a touch fuller. But give a lot of credit to Arif Sheikh in the way he's played. It's prompted because he's so positive, because Jarvis knows he's looking to attack and looking to score. That he's trying to change the way in areas that he's bowling. He's looking to get on the aggressive side of things, and this time just goes haywire. Sheikh makes him pay.
Again, another flowing drive. Funny, isn't it? Sometimes you walk out as a batter and you're just on from ball one. That's what Arif Sheikh has been. It's the 100 up. Listen to those roars in the background from the Nepal fans. They're feeling a lot more relieved all of a sudden.
It's been a good stabilization phase from Nepal again. Really reeling after that dismissal of Rohit Bodal. Caught it first slip, and now you can see again when Sheikh walks in, he's just stabilized alongside Bertel.
Oh, now this is close, and this is gone. He's been playing around that front pad, Kushal Bertel, and I don't think he can have any arguments here. In reality, he probably should have been given out in Jarvis's previous over, and he hasn't learnt his lesson. He's planting that front foot. He's playing around that pad. Jarvis, he comes wide the crease and angles it back in. Well, he might have got bad on this. He might be unlucky in the decision. I don't think he is. I think this is going to go on and hit middle stump.
Yeah, I agree. Probably sliding just a bit further down, maybe to leg, but absolutely I think he's gone for all money there, and again, probably a little bit of retribution for what was the decision. My favorite part about that was the reaction from Matthew Cross behind the stumps. He almost, when it was given, just kind of clapped his hands, raised the arms up, and almost just desperation, just, yeah, finally we get the call to go our way. Bertel, it's a good innings, 25 off 34, good cameo, but Nepal not learning their lessons. Again, with the ball they did it today, they were ruthless, and they decided, okay, we're going to take the game to Scotland. With the bat, at times, it almost feels like they'll stabilize, they'll feel ahead of the game, and they'll throw it away, they'll gift it. And to your credit, he's not playing Jarvis the way you need to. Keep the front foot away, know the ball's coming back into you. Instead, he's looked to step all the way across and flick around the corner.
Gulshan Jah, the new man at number 7. It's not Dipender Singh Airi. You do wonder, I'm saying this a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but you do wonder how many Nepal batters are padded up at any one time, because there is such flexibility to their order. I think flexibility is a good thing in a batting order, but you do want a bit of certainty over your roles. He is a precocious young talent, this Jack Jarvis. A lot of those in the know in Scottish cricket think that he could be their next big thing. He's a fine, fine player. He's just got something about him with the ball. He skids it on. He's a competitor. And Nepal, again, have another twist. 55 more needed. They are still in control, but you wouldn't rule out this one being another cliffhanger.
Especially with the way that Dipender Singh Airi's been batting, right? We've talked about the average of 18. He's so good in the field. He's very good with the ball. Hasn't quite found an ODI cricket with the bat. The reason you send Gulshan Jah in now is to almost counteract the angle that Jarvis creates coming back into the right-hander, just forcing him to change it, bowling to a lefty, and seeing if that can throw him off his line or length.
Nepal are still finding a way to score runs, so that the required run rate is an absolute non-factor now. If they get these runs, they may well get them in the next 10 overs or 12 overs, but they don't need to get them in that time period either. Obviously enjoying Arif Sheikh's innings, his positivity and his counter-attack, but doesn't want to lose his wicket hunting for an expansive drive. Watchful from Jah. Tell me something now, man. 22 bowled, 102 for 5. How does a talent as incredible as Gulshan Jah not have a bat sponsor? What's going on there?
Well, we got to find him one. We got to send these videos out. Say, hey,
how does he not have a bat sponsor? Come on.
It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. I think of Rudy Arvind when he first came into international cricket. I remember he scored the 100 down in Pearland. Don't think he had a bat sponsor that innings, and since, follow him on Instagram, he's got every sponsor in the book.
I'll tell you something. I think if one of the big bat brands doesn't come in the next year for Gulch, I'm going to sponsor him myself.
There you go.
Because he's that good. He's such a talent, and he's such a great kid as well. He's a brilliant ambassador. He speaks well. He's been really in demand in the corporate world in Nepal. Lots of these players have endorsement deals. I cannot believe that. What's going on?
I thought you already did sponsor him. I thought your sponsor was just the no sticker, the Taklu bat.
The Taklu bat. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's the bold look. Oh, come on. Somebody... I'm not going to name the names of any of the brands because one will get upset if I don't name the other. But come on, somebody from one of the sponsorship departments of one of the leading bat brands in the world, the value you'll get out of this kid over the next decade, and don't sign him for a year. No. Sign him on a long-term deal, tag him in, announce it ahead of the Nepal Premier League, and you'll have kids running around all over Nepal wanting to be like Gulshan Jah, wanting to use X brand of... That's not an actual brand. XX, you know, something. Whatever the brand is. Come on. That's... I remember Ryan Burrell, he was a great pal of mine, a few years back, tweeted about not having any... This one's cut away for 4. Not in control. Mark Watt thought he had a chance, thought it might have gone to slip. Fortune for Gulshan Jah, his first boundary.
He's looking to play it behind square, but he wasn't looking to go that far behind point. It's just found a little bit of an edge on the way through. Probably didn't read the bounce as well as he would like to. And very nearly, on another day, could have found a slip fielder, but it'll be 4 runs nonetheless. It'll be handy 4 runs for Gulshan Jah, who likes to feel bad on ball.
He's very fine, isn't he, that first slip? You think about particularly, so in theory, Watt is going to be bringing the ball in to Jah. You would think that most of the edges are therefore going to go squarer. He's just maybe come half a step square now. I think he's far too fine there. Is not the place I would want him as a spin bowler. I'm not saying he would have caught that particular one, but he does need to get a bit more angle, close off more space then as well. But yeah, Ryan Burrell was, I think he was having to repair his own spikes.
Wow. And
he put out kind of a little bit of a self-deprecating tweet about it. It's the attempted alarm ball outside the off stump, crossed as well. He given us a wide. And I think it was, he might have kind of posted a photo of the shoe and a vice being glued back together, and it was and he just said something like, come on guys, how am I having to do this as an international cricketer or whatever. Don't know what's happening here. There's a bit of carry on. Mark Watt is often involved in it. He's a real competitor. Doesn't seem too happy. Was Arif Sheikh talking to Gulshan Jah there or something? I don't know what's going on. Single to close out. There's still a ball to come. I'm too focused on the Ryan Burrell story. Sorry, Amit. But yeah, so he stuck out something, and one of the major Indian companies, no idea what's going on there.
Yeah, it looks like Arif Sheikh is trying to apologize, say, hey, that's on me. And it was just putting some words, but again, every Scottish fielder was very unhappy with the fact that Mark Watt had to pull up.
Watt likes a battle, in fairness. I think it's more him raging against the wind as much as anything. Helped around the corner, good batting. That's going to be 4. Arif Sheikh is playing a gem of a knock. And if Nepal do win this game, it will be much thanks to Sheikh the Elder.
He was great with the ball today, and he's proving great with the bat. That wasn't a particularly great delivery from Mark Watt. He stayed down the leg side and just had to do very little to get any piece of bat on this because there was no fine leg in place. So anything was going to send this away. Again, the intent from Sheikh is the big thing for me. He's looking to attack Watt. He's looking to score. And those Nepal fans love it. They sense that they're finding their first ODI win in 8 goes.
Still being a bit manic, isn't it? A bit helter-skelter. I know Sheikh has played very well, but there's going to be celebrations of relief this evening if Nepal can get over the line. Not just from all the fans, but I think in and around the squad too. But one of the major shoe companies then got on to Ryan Burrell and offered him a full-time sponsorship with, you know, as many kits as he want. And as a consequence, the tweet then of thanks, I think it was quote tweeting the original one, went completely viral. So come on, someone. Gulshan Jah's your man. Plenty of more associate cricketers I could name alongside him, but Gulshan Jah is the one. I cannot believe someone as brilliant and as young, as talented as him, who can play shots like this, doesn't have a bat sponsor. It's your last warning. Sign him up and sign him up now. If you don't, you'll have missed out. What a straight drive from the teenager.
And that straight drive gives the sponsors plenty of chance to get seen. You see the full face of the bat. And again, it's just the perfect cricketing shot. And you can just see it here. He's not looking to overhit it. Doesn't overstride. It is a touch over pitched. But he holds the shape. He's got great balance through the ball. And that's where he gets his power. He's someone who just has a tremendous base. And it just transfers his weight so beautifully.
And he's a true all-rounder, Aman, isn't he? Many all-rounders, you think of those batters who bowl a bit or bowlers who bat a bit. I can't split the two skills that he offers.
No, he's very good in both departments. I think he's only getting better with the ball. I think he's discovering just how good he is with the ball. I think, for the most part, most people thought of him probably as a third option to bowl cutters and bowl into the wicket and hope that the wicket does something. I think he's learning and discovering more and more that he's got something to offer with the way he holds the ball. You're seeing him swing it around and change angles, and he's just developing so beautifully as a bowler.
Edged away and just wide of Mark Watt. I was just about to say, if Scotland don't get a wicket now, this game might just drift away from them. And they've created an opportunity. Was this a chance? Oh, not quite.
Yeah, it's not quite a chance. Second slip probably has an opportunity to get over there, but it speaks to the balance of Jack Jarvis, too. That one's rushed up on Gulshan Jah, who is a tall man, and has got to the top half of that, and they're almost teasing Mark Watt now, wherever he goes, whether he's bowling, and now in the field, the ball just seems to just have a knack to do this.
You do wonder, I know Mark Watt's a good slip fielder, and he's already taken an excellent catch in there. You do wonder with him bowling, is he better off down at fine leg? And look, I don't think anyone necessarily would have got there. No ball. Another big cheer. Well, Arif Sheikh, who's played so brilliantly, has a chance now, well, to cash in. And you just sense this game is slipping away, going through Scotland's fingers very, very rapidly now.
Yeah, you can just sense that they're in desperation mode. They felt that they should have had a wicket here, a wicket there. They haven't gotten what they've wanted to, and they're just trying to search and create something versus just going about their natural game where they're so good. I give a lot of credit to Arif Sheikh for that, because he's just allowed the game to come to him, and then what he's done is he's then put the pressure back onto Scotland. He hasn't played anything rash, been positive, and he's lit up so far.
Free hit. Repeat that. By 2. It'll come again because it's a wide. Yeah, things are just going awry now. Well, it is not the approach that either of us expected or, well, maybe implored upon this Nepalese side, but it seems to be doing the business for them somehow.
Yeah, it is. And again, we've said it, Monty Desai knows this side better than all of us do. And whatever he's put in the message group has worked. And again, it really speaks to the resurgence of Arif Sheikh in this tour, in particular for Jack Jarvis now. He's got to find a way to get out of this free hit.
Here comes the free hit. Smashed into the leg side. It should be, well, a couple. Didn't quite get it out of the screws. The intent was there. Getting all sorts of grief on social media. Unique Siwa coach, he says, Andrew, please stop saying Nepal will win. Every time you do, they lose a wicket. Today there is commentators, Kurt. They will win. They're going to win. They're getting over the line. Don't worry. 33 more required. They've got 158 balls to do it, Aman.
Well, it's 3:57 local time, so if you need to go back in the broadcast and clip this off, it's the 24th over. We're about to see the 5th ball. This is where you go to.
Oh, that's the shot of the day from either side. Driven somewhat on the up from Arif Sheikh. Well, he's batting on another planet to the rest of the 17 batters that we have seen today. How good a shot is that?
It's brilliant. Again, it's on the up. Not much wrong from Jarvis. Probably a bit too wide, but he's read it so nicely, and he's used his hands brilliantly. He's taken his feet to the ball. He's attacked the bowlers brilliantly today, and again, it's very different from how we've seen any team play, especially any batter play. And we saw, again, big shots from Anosar early, but it really wasn't anything in control. for Sheikh, everything's been within himself, but been on the aggressive side.
Good Yorker from Jarvis. He's not the finished article, Jarvis, but he's rich with potential. He's gone for 25 in just 3 overs. Here's another look at that flowing drive. Oh, that's a thing of beauty. It really is. Arif Sheikh, for me, has been the difference between these two teams today. He's 38 not out, 24 overs bowled, 127 for 5. I want to thank you all so much for watching today. We've really enjoyed having you along. Only 28 more required to win. The Runworms are, well, not even in the same parish at the moment. We're not going to get to all those comments. Apologies for those we missed, but Santosh Kumar watching on from Bangalore in India says, so disappointed with Nepal the last game, but maybe they'll win today. Mohan watching from Auckland, took the day off work today. Jai Nepal, Jai the Rhinos. That's another one of their nicknames. They've got plenty of nicknames. Nepal, Sheikh has been so impressive, hasn't he?
Again, it's just a man who's really taken momentum to his side, and it's not just that he's scoring runs, yes, fine, but it's the approach and the manner in which he's doing so.
The positivity he's been really tangible, hasn't it? I just love the way he's gone about it. And that's the thing, in a small chase, all it takes is one guy to play well, doesn't it? You get, I know he's not got to 50 yet, he needs 11 more. You get one person who gets 50 or more, you should chase down 155.
Yeah, 100%. And again, like you said, it takes one to stand up, but the problem was things were reeling. It was who was going to stand up at this point. How do you stand up against what seems to be a Scotland side that has their tail up? And he comes in, and without missing a beat, you never really felt that he was out of sorts, wasn't getting off to a nervy start. He knew how he wanted to attack the game. He went about his game plan, and he trusted his skills, and it's worked for him beautifully.
Well, Mark Watt is into the petulant child stage of the day. He's not pleased at all. He wanted to deliver that one. Gulshan Jha is entitled to pull out.
I think Mark Watt was unhappy with how long it was taking Gulshan Jha to get ready. You saw him, he had just planted his left foot on leg stump. You can see it right here.
He's not ready. This is going to be, should be signaled as a dead ball, and it's not. Now, this for me is where the umpiring has gone awry. What the umpire has to do is hold his right arm out. It's simple. It's old school. Hold the right arm out so that you control when the batter's ready. That's a dot ball. For me, Gulshan Jha was looking down there. We're going to see if we can package those two balls. The one that Watt didn't get to bowl, and then the one that Watt has now got away with. I think it's different to the Joss Inglis one. This is down the leg side. Watt is involved in a big way here. The scorers don't even know it's a dot. They don't know what to score it as. And, well, there's all sorts going on. Now, one of the umpires thinks the over's up. The other one doesn't, but now he does. Okay, let's see what we can bring you here. That one there. So, I don't know what Mark Watt's given out about here, because the batter is entitled to wait. It's different to the Joss Inglis one. The Joss Inglis one, he was in position. His head's down at the point that Watt goes to deliver that. And I think there's a tangible difference for me. I thought Watt should have had the dismissal in his favour. He is pushing the line. He's pushing the envelope of the laws. And I can, like, if that's bowled him, the umpire's saying it would have stayed as out. And we could have had real controversy then.
And again, the real thing here is, on the first one, you saw that Gulshan Jha hadn't even gotten his bat down and set up to play the shot. Versus even on the second one, he had just gotten the right foot down, which would be his front foot. Again, this is the first one.
Yeah, this is. I think this is the first one.
Yeah,
and Jha's entitled to say, "I'm not ready yet."
Yeah,
he's absolutely. And I don't know what Watt is giving out about. Now, again, this is for me where the umpire needs to be stronger. Right here, the umpire's right arm should be out because the batter's not ready yet.
No.
And then he's trying to get the advantage, Mark Watt, and he's allowed to deliver it from 25 yards, and that's fine. But again, for me, by the letter of the law, what we saw the umpires make the decision of in Scotland is that the batter at any point, I'm actually going to find the exact law because we did a bit of research on it. Give me a moment.
We'll get to dig it. No, I think I'm with you as well as Brad Wheel comes back into the attack, hoping to find a wicket. It's different from they're in position looking at you and then they pull it halfway. That's very different from, I haven't even gotten my bat down into my batting position. I don't think Gulshanjah was taking that long either. Sheikh wants the quick single, and they'll get it in the end. Actually sent back was Gulshanjah, probably the good call with Barrington fielding it cover. But yeah, absolutely. Again, a stark difference from a batter being ready, then telling you no halfway through your run up to, they're just setting up. He hasn't even finished the setup. By the time he looks up, the ball's been delivered. It's halfway to him. Umpire's gone. He says he had to hit the stumps. He would have been giving him out. I just don't reckon that's right. Good stuff here from Wheel. As he's come back, he's been consistently right outside the off stump. He's actually been very good throughout the series and the 2 matches that he's played. He's been very tough to pick away. He's got a shade of Jack Jarvis, doesn't he? Ball will angle in. The one thing that Wheel does really well is he gets the ball to nip away late, and that's what makes him so tough to play, because you're always carving for that angle and you're always trying to line it up that way. You sometimes can just lose where your off stump is. Good short delivery, that half an appeal from Cross and Watt, just kind of peeling at everything. But again, good stuff here from Wheel, probably the quickest of the bowlers today, with no Chris Soule, who not sure if she's 100% fit. But take a look at this, good short, as well directed as well, right towards the gloves.
Yeah, it's a shot that Arif Sheikh loves. He played it well the other day for a maximum, didn't he? But there's just 27 to win. Scotland are almost dragging Nepal back into the fight here. Just hold their nerves. 1s and 2s will do from here.
But again, big credit to Wheel on the way he's bowled. He hasn't really given much up, and to Scotland's credit, you can see they're in for the fight versus we've seen sides at times, because the USA on day 1 of this tour, where you just felt the fight was never within them. They just kind of let the game go and just wanted to get to the end. You see the fielding group. Everyone in that inner ring is kind of almost pressed up. You could see no hands on hips. Everyone's eager, looking for any half chance to get themselves back into the game or just delay Nepal's win. And Sheikh will get that 1 out into the leg side to close out over number 26. Just the 1 run from it. 129 for 5.
I have found the exact law. Here's a fascinating one. So the MCC's official interpretation of the laws: if the striker backs away, the umpire's call and signal should be of dead ball. The bowler may have completed his or her action and indeed even have bowled the ball. It may have even hit the stumps. That does not matter. The ball will be dead retrospectively from the moment that the striker backed away. However, if in spite of drawing back to indicate that he or she was not ready, and then the striker attempts to play the ball, which Jack clearly didn't do, he or she will lose the protection afforded by this piece of the law. If the umpire has already called and signalled dead ball, that cannot be revoked. That is final, which we never saw Vijaya Mallela do. Now, an attempted slog sweep down the ground may well have gone all the way. I think he's looking to hit this towards the leg side rather than over the off. I might be wrong, but it's a rather audacious stroke all the way for 6.
Yeah, I think that last over probably didn't help Mark Watt's claim against Gulshanjah. I think it's very intentional. I think he was trying to get straight there, Lenny. It looked like the way he opened the face of the bat was looking to play through the offside.
You're a generous soul, my man. You really are, because now what's going on here? He's going to reverse his signal.
Was it 4?
Well, he initially signalled 6. keep your eyes on. He's now saying 4. Well, we're gonna have we're gonna have more controversy here. I thought it went all the way. We are, well, 120 yards away. We cannot tell. We'll see if our magic team in the background can tell us whether this should have been 4 or 6, giving us 4. And that's where he was intending to hit it, into the leg side, but he got it a bit straighter than he intended. It skid on. Let's have another look. I think he's trying to slog sweep this over the leg side, but it just kind of skews off the bat and goes straight. Don't know. Initially, I thought it was 6. It will probably be immaterial in the grander scheme of things. There's the 25-yard delivery. Shoulders, arms. He's attempted a shot. That's fine. That's a dot ball. Nothing wrong with that one.
100%. Again, everything happening towards the tail end. This Chase 27 gone 135 for 5. And I reckon, Lenny, that we're on the part of the graph where it says we are so back, but I'm not sure anyone in Nepal are quite settled yet. Even with it just being 20 runs to go get, I don't think anyone is quite settled. They're still feeling that this could maybe shift, but I give big credit to Arif Sheikh and Gulshan Jah.
I'm going to read you the exact law now. It's 20.4.2.5, and great credit to the guardian of the laws. ICC are the global governing body, but the MCC still govern the laws of the game. And you can get all these for free on lords.org on their website. 20.4.2.5, it's under the wider law of... Interestingly, Jap pulls out again. The umpire calling and signalling dead ball. But this is the key one. The striker is not ready for the delivery of the ball. Well bowled, Brad Wheel. Just going to get one more look at whether this should have been 6 or 4. This is going to drive a few Nepal fans mad, potentially.
Ooh, I think it might be a really good call, because I think it just plopped in front.
Did it kiss the rope, though, as it did?
It looked very close. It looked very close, but I think it just plopped in front.
I'll tell you, if this was 20 to win off 18, it would be a much more different call. I'm going to read you this 20.4.2.5. It's under the general law of Law 20, dead ball. Just listen to this and nothing else. The striker is not ready for the delivery of the ball, and if the ball is delivered, if the striker makes no attempt to play it, provided the umpire is satisfied that the striker had adequate reason for not being ready, the ball shall not count as one for the over, and the umpire shall signal dead ball. By that interpretation and reading of that law, surely that should not have been a dot ball, it should have been a dead ball.
Yeah, 100%. Again, the way the law is written, it feels like the bat can pull up anytime, which has its pluses and minuses, as Wheels bowling a tremendous spell.
And that's where the controversy was with that Joss English one. Did you see that one?
I did. And when you said it, I clicked straight in my head because I think the ball had basically come halfway out of the hands, and he had realized, oh, he's bowled this from 26 yards. I want to pull out. And for me, I feel like there's got to be a middle ground to be had. Yes, I don't think you should be able to bowl when the batter's not ready and they have their time. But if I've bowled the ball and you're ready to play the ball, I don't think I should be punished that, okay, now you want to pull out.
Yeah, it was Bertus de Jong, as it often is, that got the perfect screenshot of where Joss English, for me, was clearly in a ready position at the point. Yes, Watt's delivered from 25 yards. So in that case, I was very much in agreement with Watt. And before someone messages me saying, oh, that's just because you were supporting the associate against Australia, and today you're supporting Nepal against Scotland, I am not. I promise you, I'm wearing a purple jumper up here, for God's sake, very much in the Scottish camp as well. But there's a clear difference between today and last month. This one's just angling down. Jan needs to get back. And ultimately, it's not going to be of consequence because a dot ball makes no difference when you've got 130 balls to get the 20 runs you need to win. But in that case, in the Grange in Edinburgh, I think Watt was robbed of a wicket.
Yep.
And I think today he's just carried on a little bit with the umpires and put a wee bit of pressure on them.
Yeah, in this conversation about it, actually, Michael Harley on Twitter has put a tweet out to you. At Cricket Badge, the thing most people miss about Josh Inglis walking away from Mark Watt delivery in Edinburgh was that Watt got Travis Head out with the extra delivery in the over. So maybe it worked out in the Scots' favor that it happened that way anyway.
Would you take it? Would you take head over Inglis, do you?
I feel with the form Head is in, you almost have to take Head over Inglis.
This isn't a question that's on social media. Is he the best all-format player in the world batter right now?
It'd be hard to make a case that anyone else would be, just because, again, the T20 form that he showed is terrific, the way he opens the batting there, and then when he does an ODI cricket, you see him be able to kind of fight through innings, and then in Test cricket, there's been a lot of talk about him going to open the batting for Australia. I hope he doesn't, because I think what he's so great at in red ball cricket is changing gears and changing the pace of how a Test innings is flowing, and I reckon he's probably the best all-format player in the world.
Scotland learned all about it, didn't they, in that T20I series? The number of records that fell there in the Grange was that this. I think it was the second game. Went on an absolute blitzkrieg, the highest power play in history in T20I cricket. Yeah, Watts bowled nicely, and I don't mind him pushing the envelope in terms. Look, the game is so batting dominated. He thinks he can get an edge by pushing the line of whether or not. But for me, the simple solution to this is something that I don't know why umpires don't do it more often now. So right now, why isn't Vijay Malela's right arm out?
Yeah,
because the batter's not ready. He knows the keeper's not ready either. You then control the game as the umpire. I want my umpires to control the game.
Yeah, it almost feels like it comes back to maybe a courtesy thing, right? At some point that they just know, okay, they can't bowl. But when the law is, there is that room for interpretation, just rule it out. No, you can't bowl yet.
This one just evades the off stump. Very well bowled again by Watt. That right arm's out. We're not even having this conversation.
No.
And for me, it's that simple. But again, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't think you are. Like I said, I think it's all about, like you said, control the game and give everyone, this is when you can bowl.
And it also, I suppose, what that then does is there was a bit of animosity there, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Firstly between Watts and the umpire, and then between Watts and the batter. If the right arm's out, he can't bowl the ball. He's not even going to attempt to.
Yeah.
What's he going to do? Hurdle him. Big shot. Jazz, a fine talent, isn't he? Look at the power he hits the ball with. This goes a long, long way for 6. Nepal, they're on the brink. They can start to believe now.
Yeah, we talked about the base of Gulshan Jai. He's got great hands, but the key for me is just how stable he is at the point of impact. Nothing is flying around. Oftentimes when you see modern T20 hitters or ODI hitters, there's just so many moving parts. But you watch the way Gulshan Jai bats, everything's stable. It all comes from the screws. From a stable point of view, from there, even the miss hit that we mentioned can go all the way for a 1-bounce 4. This time, he's gotten on top of it. And again, just take another look. He's so stable at the point of impact. It's just flowing. Nothing's moving.
And he's such a powerful man. One of the challenges Nepal have is finding, taller and stronger players, because the average height in the country, you see, Sampal Kamis, your Depender Singh Aris, your Rohit Powdels, these guys aren't particularly tall. But Jazz a rarity. They found a 6'1" fast bowling, big hitting all-rounder of the highest quality, who I'm only going to say it one more time, man, somehow doesn't have a bat sponsor.
Someone get it. Get the Taklu bat away from Glinja, and whoever does it, they're going to be a very happy company, maybe within
you
a year's
will have
time.
a long and very fruitful partnership with a wonderful young man, is what you'll have. 13 to win, 12 to tie. Nepal are going to get it done. They've got it done in their own unique style, but whoever created that graphic of 240 or 250 days without an ODI win, that's the 25-yarder. Nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Ja was ready. Plays it away for a single. He'll have to scrub all the numbers off that. It will be 0 days without an ODI win. Nepal will finally find success after what's been a bit of a tough time in this format, and I think they've been very, very deserving of the win. Yes, it was a big toss to win, there's no doubt about that. Might have been interesting was the toss the other way, had Scotland won it and chosen to bowl first, which they would have done. But Nepal today, for Scotland, they've been too good.
Yeah, they have. And again, it went back to the ruthlessness with the ball. I thought the bowling changes, in particular from Rohit Powdel, were quite brilliant. And the reason they were able to be brilliant was because the bowlers themselves were very consistent on a line and length and kept themselves in consideration. You can see the bowling card there. Wickets for most of the bowlers here, but for me, it's the economy rates. We had economy rates that were well above 8 closer to that 8 mark, closer to 9, but you see everyone is under 5 runs and over because they're not giving away freebies, and they're forcing Scotland to have to take them on, and we know how good Nepal's bowling talent is no matter where they go in the world.
Yeah, the picks for me were actually, it was great to see Lamachani back in the wickets, but the picks for me were particularly Karen KC's spell. I thought he was really, really good today with the new ball. And Gulshan Jah bowled very well as well. He might be in the mix for the Player of the Match award. And I don't think Arif Sheikh would be a bad choice either. As Brandon McMullen comes back into the attack, it's going to be some free runs. May well. Ooh, nearly 5 of them, but instead it'll be 4 as they'll run 3. Good piece of fielding down on the rope from Brad Curry. He just doesn't look to be moving quite as fluently today. I wonder, is that blow that he took at the non-striker's end still affecting him? He got hit in the ankle by a thunderous Mark Watt strike. I do enjoy the messages and the interaction. I've got to read you a couple more here. Suraj Bandari says, "It's nearly 3 a.m. This was 20 minutes ago. It's now after 3 a.m. I cannot sleep till I know 2 points have been secured for Nepal." This is tickled away for 4. Well, what a lovely way to come to within 1 blow of 50. And Yuvraj says, yes, there's plenty of overs left, but worry is wickets. These 2 are the last hope. Do not say Nepal will win. Only say Nepal has won. Well, Nepal, they will win.
There you go. So you've done exactly what he didn't want you to do, followed by what he did want you to do. But yeah, well played here. And he deserves a 50, doesn't he? Arif Sheikh, he's carried everything home. He's played an unbelievable knock. And again, without him, things really could have gone well south.
Now, he gets to 47. There's still 4 balls left. Gulshan Jah might be an old pal here and get a single. Yeah, I think he's played beautifully. I really do. One thing we missed in the day, and apologies to Scottish fans for this, Matthew Cross went past 2,000 ODI runs today. Just missed that landmark earlier on in his innings. He was only a couple of runs shy of that landmark. I think his batting showing signs of coming back. You can see some fluency to it. His glove work has been good as always, despite that 1 drop catch. And you can see Jah is trying to get the single. For Nepal, this win was just going to do them the world of good.
Again, winning becomes a habit, and the first way to win is to not lose. And you saw them get rid of those habits that forced them to not win, right? We talk about the bowling. They weren't aggressive, and they weren't consistent the way they needed to be. They weren't ruthless in their planning. And today, with the ball in particular, they were great.
Good work from Gulshan Jah. Gets the single. Over to you, Arif Sheikh. You deserve an unbeaten 50. You deserve the win. And for one of Nepal's unsung heroes, he doesn't capture the headlines. He doesn't get the praise that even his brother gets. But he's been a fine servant. He's 27 years of age. He's a steely character. They call him the Iceman, and I think that is the perfect nickname for him, because whenever there's a panic, you think back to that UAE game, the grandstand finish on March 16th. His 50 was the critical one there. It's just 2 to win. And it is, if it gets to the rope, which it will, it's going to be 50 for Arif Sheikh. Fittingly, he wins the winning runs. McMullen is the first to congratulate him. It's a 7th one-day international 50. And maybe, apart from that innings against the UAE, none have been as critical in his 55 matches thus far. Nepal, they've ended that 200-plus day streak without a victory in ODI cricket. They have roundly outplayed maybe the best associate side in the world. They've taken a comfortable, a confident victory despite a few wobbles. They've taken it by 5 wickets. They've been ever such good value for the win, and that will warm the hearts of every Nepal fan around the world as they're back, up and running. They are back, baby.
We are so back. That's what all the graphics will be saying for Nepal fans. And yes, that first ODI win that they've captured, and it's the way they've done it. They were ruthless with the ball. Yes, did they stumble with the bat? Absolutely. But they had the Iceman step up. They had patches where you said, okay, they can win this game. For Scotland, I don't think you would sit there and say Scotland will have to rethink the way they go about playing ODI cricket. I think this win is more about what Nepal did right versus what Scotland did wrong. I think the one thing Scotland's going to want to do is find a way to convert on their scores, but give all the credit in the world to Nepal. Scotland fought back nicely with the ball in hand, but there was never enough runs to really trouble that Nepali side, and it's all smiles all the way around, especially for Arif Sheikh, who's done exactly what his team needed. And again, winning becomes a habit. You win one, and it can snowball in to 2, 3, 4, and maybe into that magical run we saw at the tail end of the first edition of League Two.
Yeah, great delight for Nepal. There really is. And again, we don't pick the player of the match at this level, but for me, Arif Sheikh, the standout, the positivity with which he played with. Again, there was another shuffle of the batting order that we didn't expect. Kushal Malla came in at number 3, which he hasn't done altogether too often. 51 of 42 deliveries. When he came to the crease, they were in all sorts of trouble at 63 for 4. So to turn that around, for me, there's only one winner of the player of the match today. That should be Arif Sheikh, but we'll leave that up to the match officials. They make that decision in Cricket World Cup League 2. Good contribution from Gulshan Jah to go with his wickets with the ball, and 25 and 21 for Kushal Bertel and Asif Sheikh, respectively. A little bit disappointing, Rohit Powdell's dismissal today, just nibbling at one outside the off stump. Brandon McMullen, probably the pick of the bowlers. We'll have a look at that bowling card now. But I thought, on the whole, Scotland fought really hard. They just didn't have anything like enough runs on the board.
Yeah, again, I can't fault many of their bowlers here. Even Brad Curry, yes, probably more expensive and a little bit more wayward than he would have liked to have been. But everyone, they bowled their heart out. McMullen picked up wickets in key moments. I thought Wheel was, again, phenomenal. Didn't get the wicket rewards that probably he deserved, but he was phenomenal. The way he was getting it to zip. Jack Jarvis looks like a good young talent. But all this for me goes to the fact that Scotland just didn't score enough runs on the board. They fought brilliantly and showed their class with the ball in hand.
And here's the updated points table that Nepal fans will really enjoy seeing, because they are within touching distance now of Oman. One more win will get them above them, and all of a sudden you can start to see a path back towards some kind of touching distance of that top 4, and crucially get away from the bottom 2, which is not where you want to be. Were they to win today, were they to win in 4 days' time, and they'll come back into action, and then again in 6 days' time, although there is some weather about, their last 2 games will be on Saturday and Monday. Saturday is the one we're expecting the big crowd for. They get to 9 points and be within touching distance of Namibia, and who knows, Scotland, given how good a side they are, after a poor start in Dubai, they've had a few problems with the rain on home soil in a game where they were robbed really of 2 points against Oman, as they were just 20 runs shy of victory. But they probably aren't exactly where they'd want to be in this table, and they'll have to bounce back in 2 days' time from now on Thursday. That'll be against the United States of America, who'll be looking to go top of the table, because if they win that run rate that they have from Canada, they would move top of the table. So Nepal are going to undertake their traditional lap of honour, go and thank all of the fans. It's going to wrap up the coverage for me. Aman Patel is going to get down to do the post-match ceremony. I want to thank you so much, as always, for watching. Really enjoyable day of cricket as Nepal have raced to this chase. They've won it with over 20 overs to spare. Good for their net run rate too. It's been an Arif Sheikh inspired chase with 51 for him, 25 not out for Gulshan Jah, and 3 wickets and 2 apiece for KC, Kami and Gulshan Jah, and Sandeep Lamachani's return to form, highlighting what has been, well, a really important victory for Nepal. For me, Andrew Leonard, that's going to wrap up our coverage. I want to thank you so much, all of you, for watching, for getting engaged in the coverage, for enjoying the action. It really has been a fantastic game of cricket that we've really enjoyed. Plenty of highlight moments, and a special word too for Mark Watt with his efforts with the bat and with the ball. But for me, Andrew Leonard, I'm going to thank you. I'm going to say good evening and good night. Don't go anywhere too far. Post-match presentation incoming with Aman Patel in a few moments' time.